Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. This is a video on daily topic-wise news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express. So the most important news that is relevant for your examination would be discussed in this session. So let's get started with the topic first. Today is 5th of July. The first topic is Center to launch NIPUN Bharat mission. Second, study on second COVID wave impacts on the young people. Mostly the young people were affected during the second COVID wave. We'll understand the study. Third, post-pandemic rural economy recovery. This is an editorial from Indian Express. We have two editorial today. The other is from the basically from the Hindu. How Chhattisgarh has stalled a historic judgment. Now the other news from Indian Express is draft anti-trafficking bill wides scope of the offenses. So these are some of the important news and editorial from today's newspaper. Apart from these discussion, there would be some MCQs questions. These questions would be based on current affairs. I will discuss that at the end of this session. So stay tuned till end of this video so that you could practice some important question. And those of you who are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, do not forget to give a thumbs up. You can share this video with your friends as well. The first news, that is Center to launch NIPUN Bharat mission. Important for your general studies paper 2, government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors. By sectors, this is something which is related to education, right? Now what government has decided, basically their launch is scheduled for today itself. So government of India ने decide किया है, they would be launching a national initiative for proficiency and reading with understanding and numeracy. This is called NIPUN, right? So this would be launched by the Department of Education and Literacy in the Ministry of Education. So today is the day while I'm recording this lecture, the program must has been rolled out by the government, right? You can read the entire details of this program at the end of the day in the PIB, right? Now what is NIPUN Bharat? This will ensure कि हर एक child जो है वो एक जो डिज़ायर रिक्वायरमेंट है उसको अचीव करे, जो लर्निंग कम्पिटेंसीज है चाहे वो रीडिंग से हो, राइटिंग से हो, न्यूमेरेसी से हो, दैट शुड बी डन एट द एंड ऑफ द ग्रेड 3. सो क्लास 3 तक ये सारी जानकारी उस बच्चे को हो जानी चाहिए, राइट? सो दिस इज द मेन एम एंड द रैशनल, सो दैट each and every child who is studying by grade 3 he should have an idea how to read, how to write and how to calculate, right? So this is what a basic mission is all about, and the government has set a deadline for 2026 to 2027, right? Why this deadline has been extended, we'll discuss that as well. Now what is the aim of this mission? See, these type of missions are very important for your prelims factual question. Also two statement question can be directly asked. The pura aim has to promote an 8 proportion cognitive numerical skill develop karna bachcho ki, right? First we have right to education in our country. Again government is trying to enhance the level of education by providing reading, writing and numeracy skills. So the NIPUN Bharat ये जो scheme है, जो initiative ली गई है, this would be implemented under the steps that was taken by the National Education Policy, जो NEP 2020 है, उसके अंदर इस तरह की provisions थे. Because of the reason that NIPUN Bharat has, the government is taking this action. So NIPUN Bharat is under the initiative of National Education Policy, right? This is very important, which was released on July 2020. Now, if you talk about NIPUN Bharat, इसकी जो implementation है, Department of School and Education Literacy करेगी, है ना? 5-tier implementation mechanism बनाई गई है जहाँ पे national level पे भी काम की जाएगी. There would be state level, district level, block level and school level. So these are the 5 level of hierarchy upon which the entire program or the entire mission would be implemented both in the state as well as in the union territories, right? But they would be under the edges of center sponsored scheme. Sponsored scheme में गवर्नमेंट की जो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट है उनकी कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशंस काफ़ी ज़्यादा होती है. सो जो सर्ग में शिक्षा है उसके जो CSS है जो उसके अंदर ये सारी चीज़ें इम्प्लीमेंट की जाएगी. सो मोस्ट ऑफ द फंड वुड बी गिवन बाय द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, एंड एटलीस्ट 25% ऑफ द स्कूल गोइंग चिल्ड्रन in 4 to 8 age group lack appropriate cognitive and numerical skill. Still, if you talk about rural India, people do not even know the basic calculations, the basic addition or subtraction. So this is very right decision in the right direction that government has taken, and it is really appreciative. अगर आप मेंस में खास करके आप जनरल स्टडीज पेपर 4 में केस स्टडीज को लेकर के अगर बात करेंगे, इफ यू राइटिंग यू कैन कोट दिस टाइप ऑफ एग्जाम्पल्स. नाउ एक्सटेंशन ऑफ द डेडलाइन, जो नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी है 2020 की, उसके डेडलाइन को एक्सटेंड किया गया. अर्लियर इट वाज बीइंग टारगेटेड कि दैट्स दिस डेडलाइन वुड बी कंप्लीटेड बाय 2025, but because of the COVID-19 we have seen the implementation on regular functioning of the school is not there, so this has been extended to 2026 and 2027 because we know 2 academic session has already been disrupted in the country. Now निपुण भारत की अगर बात करें, इसमें जो emphasis दी गई है that is for the goal setting, एक accountability set करने की बात की गई है state governments के लिए, and it would provide a guideline for the teacher training, right? किस तरह से assessment होनी चाहिए, कहाँ पे printed material की ज़रूरत है, and accordingly the people who can help to develop this missions, right? So these points are very important. A factual question directly can be framed in your prelims examination. Now the other news, that is study on second wave impacts on the young people, important for your general studies paper 2, issues related to development and management of health. So what has happened that government ने एक अपनी research conduct की, एक study conduct की, that is known as clinical profile of hospitalized COVID-19 patients, जो first wave and the second wave में किस तरह से problem हुई है, ये पूरी title है, I'll just read it out for you. Clinical profile of the hospitalized COVID-19 patients in the first and second wave of pandemic, insights from Indian registry-based observational study. ये पूरा study का नाम है. It's too long, right? You can pause this video, you can read it out. और स्टडी को जो की गई, कंडक्ट की गई थी, कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट एजेंसीज इन्वॉल्व थे, दैट इज ICMR, इंडियन काउंसिल फॉर मेडिकल रिसर्च. उन्होंने जॉइंटली ICMR ऑल इंडिया इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मेडिकल साइंसेज और NCDC जो है नेशनल सेंटर फॉर डिजीज कंट्रोल के साथ मिलकर काम किया है और एक नेशनल क्लिनिकल रजिस्ट्री बनाई है फॉर द COVID-19 पेशेंट्स. सो दीज डेटा आर अगेन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. दे आर विद द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट. नो, जो रिसर्च एक्टिविटीज़ हैं उसमें इस तरह के डेटा काफ़ी रेलिवेंट होते हैं. दिस कैन हेल्प एनी फ्यूचर पेंडेमिक, राइट? किसी फ्यूचर पेंडेमिक इस तरह के डेटा कंक्लूसिवली बहुत हेल्प करेंगे टू प्रोवाइड अ रोड मैप. नाउ व्हाट दिस सेज, हायर मोर्टेलिटी की अगर बात करें तो मोर्टेलिटी में अगर एक्सप्रेस कंसर्न की गई है कि बहुत सारे ऐसे परसेंटेज, हायर परसेंटेज देखे गए हैं यंग लोगों में जिनकी डेथ हुई है बिकॉज of the second wave and the delta variant which has arisen in country, right? So under 20 एज ग्रुप के भी काफ़ी लोग थे, 20 प्लस के भी एज ग्रुप के लोग बहुत ज़्यादा इसमें रिपोर्ट किए गए. Now under the data which was collected by the National Clinical Register that reveal कि जो hospitalizations हैं वो सिर्फ कोमॉर्बिड कैटेगरीज में नहीं हुई. इससे पहले क्या हो रही थी कि ऐसे लोग जो कोमॉर्बिड है, कोमॉर्बिड का मतलब है वैसे पेशेंट्स जिनको एक से अधिक बीमारी है, राइट? Like they have diabetes, they have other hypertension problem, and again they have corona also. So इस तरह के comorbidities के patients second wave में ज़्यादा नहीं थे, but the adult people were more, right? तो सिर्फ comorbidities were not only the reason because of the admit, non-comorbid people were also admitted. So this is what the study has to quote. The study says that the mortality in the hospitalized patient has increased to 3.1% in the second COVID wave. Now situation is under control. We are reporting less than 50,000 cases per day. We are expecting this to decrease drastically, and at the higher proportion of patients complain जो shortness of breath है, जो सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम थी कोविड के टाइम में, और लैक ऑफ ऑक्सीजन एंड द शॉर्टनेस ऑफ ब्रेथ और एक्यूट रेस्पिरेटरी डिस्ट्रेस सिंड्रोम्स, ARDS जिसको कहते हैं, और ऑक्सीजन सपोर्ट की प्रॉब्लम, वेंटिलेशंस की प्रॉब्लम. वी हैव सीन दिस प्रॉब्लम arising in the many states like Delhi, Mumbai, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh. These states were severely having a shortage of the oxygen and other beds. Now, an infograph that is there in the newspaper. You can read it out from there also. So, इसमें अगर बात करें किस तरह से चीज़ों के बारे में बताई गई है, COVID-19 ने यंग पॉपुलेशन को हिट किया, मैंने आपको बता दिया है. द शेयर ऑफ हॉस्पिटलाइज्ड पेशेंट्स फ्रॉम 20 to 39 एज ग्रुप में जिसकी जो परसेंटेज इंक्रीज हुई है वो 23.7% है. दीज आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. द फर्स्ट वेव में सिर्फ 26.5% और सेकेंड वेव में ड्रास्टिकली इट हैज इंक्रीज, राइट? सो फर्स्ट वेव में 23.7, सेकेंड वेव में 26.5. शेयर ऑफ हॉस्पिटलाइज्ड की अगर बात करें, फर्स्ट वेव में इट वाज ओनली 40%. दिस इज फॉर द एज ग्रुप ऑफ 40 to 60. नाउ इट हैज इंक्रीज फ्रॉम 41.3%. Fewer patients of 60 year of old, it was earlier 27.8% compared to first wave which was 32.5%. तो यहाँ पे थोड़ी सी नंबर कम हुई है. लेस प्रपोर्शन ऑफ हॉस्पिटलाइज पेशेंट अक्रॉस ऑल एज ग्रुप, जहाँ पे कोमॉर्बिडिटीज की अगर बात करें सेकेंड वेव में 21.1% कंपेयर टू फर्स्ट वेव 21.7%, राइट. सो दीज आर सम ऑफ द डेटा दैट इज कमिंग फ्रॉम द स्टडी एंड फ्रॉम द एक्सपर्ट्स. Now, post-pandemic rural economy recovery and editorial from Indian Express, and important for your general studies paper, 3 inclusive growth and issues arising from it. So what are the important issues under this editorial? As we are discussing 2 editorial a day, this is the first editorial. So the entire theme of this editorial talks about post-pandemic rural economy recovery. क्या roadmap होनी चाहिए rural economy recovery के लिए. और जो 3 इंपॉर्टेंट थीम है जिस पे मैं आपके साथ ये चीज़ों को डिस्कस करूंगा. द इश्यूज इज अदर फैक्टर, क्या क्या फैक्टर्स रहे. मेजर्स रिक्वायर्ड बाय द गवर्नमेंट, दैट इज रिक्वायर्ड, दैट हैज टू बी टेकन बाय द गवर्नमेंट, एंड द वे फॉरवर्ड, राइट. So as we know that during the year 2021 and specifically in the month of April and May, COVID-19 has increased almost to 198%, right. This is a rise we have seen in the COVID cases. The total number of losses of the life is again very high, both in the rural as well as in the urban areas. And the first wave of the pandemic, the rural area has been devastating. और इसके vicious second wave में भी बहुत ज़्यादा cases exponentially बढ़े थे. Now its peak in August and September in the rural district have affected 22.8 million cases, right? Now the loss of the life, I've seen, we know this number is again, if we talk about India precisely, 4 lakh people have been died due to the COVID-19 in the last 1.5 years. Now कुछ और फैक्टर्स की अगर बात करें कोविड के अलावे और क्या क्या चीज़ें जो परेशान की है लोगों को, बेसिकली कुछ चीज़ें फेवरेबल भी रही है. साउथ वेस्ट मॉनसून की अगर बात करें दैट अराइव अर्ली, और IMD के फोरकास्ट के मुताबिक इस साल चीज़ें नॉर्मल होने की संभावना, राइट. जून सो अ क्यूमुलेटिव सरप्लस ऑफ 10% इन द लॉन्ग पीरियड एवरेज, जहाँ पे अगर स्पेशल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन बात की जाए कंट्री के एक्सेस रेनफॉल की, सो दैट हैज इंक्रीज. सो समहाउ द एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर, द फार्मर सेक्टर आर ऑन रिलीफ. नाउ अदर की फैक्टर फॉर द टर्म ऑफ ट्रेड, WPI की अगर बात करें, सो द फूड प्रोड्यूस ऑन द एवरेज इज 2.3% सिंस द स्टार्ट ऑफ 2021, और WPI में नॉन फूड मैन्युफैक्चरिंग जो है इट्स एवरेज एट 7.4%. एवरेज ऑफ CPI कोर की अगर बात करें रूरल में, दिस वाज अगेन 6.4%, एंड इन मे दिस हैज स्ट्रेंथनिंग टू 8.2%. Urban non-food core is however 5.5 and in the corresponding period. So some sectors is stabilizing, some sectors are improving, especially because of the monsoon which is appropriate in this country. We are not having an acute shortage of any food products. Now some measures that are required by the government, right? What government need to do? Government resisted cutting the taxes on fuel and edible oil to hope the prices should be corrected and it should be leveled down. We know the prices of the fuel has increased drastically. No, in petrol the prices has increased up to 100 rupees liter. However, we need to have more compassionate, जहाँ पे अगर बात करें गवर्नमेंट फिनेंसेस की, so a better tax basically adherence is required to overcome the tax loopholes. And supply side respondents की अगर बात करें, खास करके if you have the problem of pulses, we have seen the rise of the pulses and the mustard oils and other refined oil is also rising. So pulses have been a bugbearer in terms of the impact of inflation, right? So to control this, government ने बहुत सारे, रिसेंट में आपके साथ मैंने न्यूज़ डिस्कस किया था जहाँ पे बहुत सारे एक्सपोर्ट्स को बंद कर दी गई है, राइट. गवर्नमेंट इज नॉट एक्सपोर्टिंग द एक्सेप्ट मूंग दाल, all the other pulses have not been allowed to export, right? So these are some of the measures that already government has taken. Now way forward, अगर pandemic की बात करें, rural economy recovery की बात करें post pandemic, so government need to have an ability for the drive spending, where what are the most essential thing is required. जैसे कि अगर बात करें free foods की, free gas, front loading of PM Kisan payments, increasing Manrega allocations, this number has to increase. We have seen the people coming in Manrega has also, enrollment has also increased due to the non-availability of jobs in the country. Moratorium को बढ़ाने की ज़रूरत है. These things can definitely help in tackling the current physical problems. Now, the other news again from the Indian Express: draft anti-trafficking bill that widens the scope of offenders. Right? We'll understand the most important point of this because I think the most of the bill which was there in 2018 has already been known to you. So we'll understand the important fact that is relevant. Important for your general studies paper 2: welfare schemes for the vulnerable section of the population by the center and the states. So Ministry of Women and Child Development ने recently एक suggestions publish किए comments के लिए for its new bill that is trafficking in person prevention care and rehabilitation session for 2021. प्रीवियस ड्राफ्ट जो इंट्रोड्यूस की गई थी 2018 में वो पास तो कर दी गई थी लोकसभा से, बट इट इज स्टिल अपोजिशनिंग फ्रॉम द पार्लियामेंटेरियन एंड द एक्सपर्ट एंड इट हैज नेवर बीन इंट्रोड्यूस्ड इन द राज्यसभा, राइट. एंड यू नो द पासेज ऑफ द बिल ओनली हैपन व्हेन इट पासेस थ्रू बोथ ऑफ द हाउसेस. सो एक्सपर्ट्स का मानना है कि बहुत सारे कंसर्न्स थे 2018 के ड्राफ्ट बिल में जिसको एड्रेस करने की ज़रूरत है. सो सी व्हाट आर द चेंजेस दैट गवर्नमेंट हैज डिड. सो ड्राफ्ट बिल 2021 यहाँ पे कुछ चीज़ों के स्कोप को बढ़ाया गया है, राइट. सो द ऑफेंसेस, द विक्टिम्स, द काइंड ऑफ विक्टिम एंड द ऑफेंसेस वुड बी देयर दैट हैज़ इंक्रीज्ड. और स्ट्रिंजेंट पेनाल्टीज रखी गई है, लाइफ इम्प्रिजमेंट तक की बातें कही गई है, डेथ पेनाल्टी इन द केसेस ऑफ एक्सट्रीम नेचर ऑफ क्राइम, राइट. इट विल बी एक्सटेंडेड टू ऑल सिटीजन एंड इवन आउटसाइड. जो NRIs होंगे, पीपल द फॉरेन नेशनल ओरिजिन, द फॉरेनर वुड ऑल्सो बी लाइबल इफ दे फाइंड टू बी डूइंग एनी क्राइम अंडर दिस, राइट. तो कोई भी ऐसे पनिशेबल ऑफेंस जो इस रूल के अंदर आती होगी ड्राफ्ट के, तो तब उनको भी यहाँ के जो प्रोविजंस हैं उनके अकॉर्डिंगली पनिशमेंट दी जाएगी. सो लॉ अप्लाई टू एवरी ऑफेंसेस ऑफ ट्रैफिकिंग पर्सन विद क्रॉस बॉर्डर इम्प्लीकेशंस. अगर प्रॉपर्टी की बात करें, सच इनकम सच एज ट्रैफिकिंग नाउ बी फोर्टिफाइड विद द प्रोविजंस, and money laundering act is something which is also included under the draft bill. So they try to cover it comprehensively, not only national wide but also globally. जो क्रॉस बॉर्डर खास करके मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग है या जो क्रॉस बॉर्डर implications हैं उनको भी एड्रेस करने की कोशिश की गई है. Now the scope of the bill include defense personnel and government servant. This will also be there. Doctors and paramedical staffs, anyone in the position on authority. NIA will remain investigation agency. It can be a question on your prelims. इसकी investigation agency कौन होगी? And they would be looking into the cross border offenses. Now penalties की अगर बात करें, what are the penalties that are there? So it will hold a minimum of 7 years that can go. And it can extend up to 10 years. जो fine है that is for 5 lakh rupees in most child trafficking cases. Especially child trafficking की अगर बात करें, penalty will be now life imprisonment. A person is convicted for an offense under this section and meanwhile age of the 12 की अगर बात की जाए, less than age of अगर 12 होंगी and against the women for the purpose of repeated rape, there shall be the punishment of rigorous imprisonment up to 20 years, right. So these are some of the penal provisions that is under the rules, and definitely if it is passed, this would become an act that has to be there in the IPC and CRPC. Now, how Chhattisgarh has stalled a historic judgment, important for your general studies paper 2, government policies and intervention for the development of various sector. Also it is important for your general studies paper 4 in the case study section, right. तो case study में आपसे इस तरह के सवाल पूछे जा सकते हैं. अब वहाँ पे कोट कर सकते हैं इस तरह के जो जजमेंट्स है सुप्रीम कोर्ट के उसके बारे में. सो एंटायर एडिटोरियल इज बेस्ड ऑन 4 इंपॉर्टेंट सब टॉपिक, दैट इज कोर्ट डायरेक्शंस, न्यू स्ट्रगल, राइज इन द फेक इनकाउंटर एंड वे फॉरवर्ड. और जो थीम है इस एडिटोरियल की, दैट टॉक्स अबाउट पोस्ट सलवा जुदूम जजमेंट, राइट. सो विल अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट दिस इज ऑल अबाउट. सलवा जुदूम की जजमेंट आई थी 10 years बिफोर, राइट. एंड still the provisions which was given, the rule which was given by the Supreme Court is not being implemented at its fullest. So this is it's a 10th anniversary. The editor is willing to make you understand that how the things that was not actually implemented is creating another level of problem. So 10 years ago in July 2011, Justice B. Sudeshan Reddy and S.S. Nijar उन्होंने एक historic judgment दी थी जहाँ पे जो सलवा जुदूम एक वेंटलेज मूवमेंट थी उसको जो स्टार्ट की गई थी 2015 में, उसको बैन करने की बात की थी. सलवा जुदूम हैज़ क्रिएटेड अनदर प्रॉब्लम इन छत्तीसगढ़. बहुत सारे इंपॉर्टेंट लीडर्स जो engaged thing, right? The people were associated with Congress and BJP. Many of the leaders have died, right? Mahendra was the leader who again died in this particular incident. So that has created a chaos and level of confusion for the militant group or the terrorist group or the Maoist group. सल्वा जुदूम बेसिकली मीन्स अ पीस मार्च, प्यूरिफिकेशन हंट के बारे में बात की गई है। एक मिलिटिया बनाई गई थी जहाँ पे मोबिलाइज किया जाएगा इन लोगों को फॉर द एंटी इंसर्जी ऑपरेशन इन छत्तीसगढ़, राइट। और जो नक्सलाइट है उनको काउंटर करने के लिए सल्वा जुदूम की बात कही गई थी। बट अगेन दिस हैज समथिंग विच हैज नॉट गिवन सम फ्रूटफुल रिजल्ट्स। आई थिंक मेनी ऑफ यू मस्ट बी अवेयर व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इज द सल्वा जुदूम। कोर्ट के डायरेक्टिव्स की अगर बात करें, कोर्ट ने कहा था कि the judge says that rules use of surrender Maoist untrained villages और इन फ्रंट लाइन काउंटर एजेंसी जो ऑपरेशंस हुए इसमें जो भी लोग सरेंडर कर रहे हैं उनको एसपीओज बनाया जाए, स्पेशल पुलिस ऑफिसर। बट दिस वाज कंसिडर्ड टू बी एन अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल, राइट। इट इज डायरेक्टेड कि जो एग्जिस्टिंग एसपीओज हैं उनके डिप्लॉयमेंट जो है वो ट्रैफिक मैनेजमेंट के तौर पे हो सकती है, सेफ ड्यूटीज या रिजर्व फोर्स के तौर पे की जा सकती है। Now 10 years on, nothing has been done to implement this judgment. Still, the state government has not done some corrective action to ensure this is being implemented. Now, the state government has merely renamed the SPO as a district reserve guard. But जो training है, only 3 months has been provided to these people, and nothing short of concrete action has been taken in the direction and the judgment that was given by the Supreme Court. नाउ न्यू स्ट्रगल, इसमें जो और जो प्रॉब्लम आई है एट द पीक 2005-2007 में जब ये सल्वा जुदूम अपने पीक पे थी, तो जो विलेज के लोग थे दे हैव अ कंट्रोल्ड गवर्नमेंट कैंप, राइट। मच हैपेंड ऑन द ग्राउंड सिंस देन। बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग थे जिन्होंने रिफ्यूज किया, दे वर पनिश्ड बाय हैविंग देयर विलेजेस बर्न्ड, राइट। So there were two levels of parallel government that arises. Government wanted to control the Maoist and the Maoist wanted to have their self-rule, right? So that were creating a conflict of interest to the mind of the villages, and hundreds of people were killed that were recorded as encounters. Across the region, जो villages थे, they were demanding school and healthcare facilities, right? And instead of what we got in the abundance was the CRPF camp. So we have seen that during this time and many other states like Jharkhand, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, the CRPF camp was engulfing the entire district to ensure कि अगर इस तरह से कोई भी इंसिडेंट हुई तो उसको प्रोटेक्ट किया जा सकता है पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस के कॉम्बैट करके। Now, rise in fake encounter has also been seen. It has also increased drastically. This situation is before the judgment came, right? So the encounter between the Jawan and Maoist periodically happened, and this was again in the national headline. कुछ extra judicial killing भी बार-बार होती रही है. We have seen this in the public notice. एक estimate है जहाँ पे June 28 को Saker Guda, they have claimed that 187 death fake encounter has took place between 2015 to 2021. So you can see the number is definitely increasing. Supreme Court की जो judgment थी that would be render even more meaningless अगर इस तरह के idea जो rule of law है उनको implement नहीं किया गया तो, right? So possibly it is required that government should take some corrective measures and ensure that जो judgment थी Supreme Court की उसको implement किया जा सके। Now, way forward, government has seriously challenged the efficacy of democratic constitutional means by finding a solutions to the problem. What government can do, they can find a democratic, a constitutional solution that would ensure a longer term peaceful in the particular region. Now, it has completely failed to address the root of the discontent. जो deprivations की अगर बात करें, annihilations of Adivasis, basic of Maoist footholds that need to be controlled because छत्तीसगढ़ में कई ऐसे district हैं apart from दंतेवाड़ा, the districts are really affected, so that need to be controlled. और वहाँ पे कुछ ऐसे bureaucratic efforts लिए गए हैं जहाँ पे schools developed किए गए हैं, primary healthcare centers developed किए, लोगों को skilling की जा सकती है. So these are some of the measures that must be taken by the district and the state administration or the state government. So if it being asked in examination as a solution, अगर आपसे solution पूछा जाए तो always give a positive solution, and education can be the most important tool in terms of providing overall solution to this problem, right? Make sure you should focus on the primary education, health. These are the two most important things. Now moving to the MCQs question, before I proceed with the question, just to tell you the answers of yesterday question. The first answer for the question is A. For the second question, the correct option is C. Today's question of the day: consider the following statement about PM Atmanirbhar Swasth Bharat scheme. It aims to provide healthcare insurance people from BPL categories. It was recently announced in the Union Budget 2021-2022. So which among the following is the correct answer? You have to write that in the comment section. If you know the correct option, do participate and write your comment answer in the comment section. Second question with regards to the National Hydrogen Energy Mission. The mission is capitalizing hydrogen for the cleaner alternative options. It will focus on generation of hydrogen from the green resources. So कोई भी गवर्नमेंट की इस तरह की जो इंपॉर्टेंट स्कीम्स हैं एनर्जी से रिलेटेड या क्लाइमेट चेंज से रिलेटेड, दिस बिकम वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर योर environmental section as well. So if you know, do write your answer in the comment section down below. This was all about the daily news and editorial analysis followed by the MCQs questions. And we have launched IAS GAZETTE subscription, which you can avail at an affordable price. For the better understanding, we have provided a description in the link. मैं एक डेडिकेटेड लिंक दे दिया हूँ जहाँ पे आप जा करके डायरेक्टली उसको परचेज कर सकते हैं. सो दिस कवरेज इज फ्रॉम जुलाई 2021 to June 2022. So do check it out. If you have any other concern, do let me know. I'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Wish you all the best. Thank you so much for listening.